Okay, we're going to show you how easy it is to assemble a side panel. What we're going to show you first are the footers. These are crossbar footers, a large and a small. Small is for under 16 inches on the floor of your fridge or freezer, and the large one is for 16 inches or wider or deeper. And these are the post segments. You see the prong at the bottom, and then there's little gripping grooves on the side, 6 gripping grooves 1 inch apart to hold the shelves, the rails on the shelves. And these are slots on the footer, and that's where the prong goes in. And there are several slots all across the top of that footer. And you're going to be building 2 posts, so you're going to be selecting the place to put the posts that best fit the interior of your freezer. If you're wondering what that white bucket is at the end, we're pretending that that's the back of the freezer, and we're wanting to avoid some big air duct or something that's there. So we decided to put the first post, start building it right near the end, second one from the end. Now, if you're familiar with Lego or Meccano Erector sets, you'll have fun with this because it's basically the same building blocks. You just click these post segments together, put the prong in. It sticks right in really easily. Now we're going to put the other one. This will be the front, where I'm now is the front of the freezer or the refrigerator, and we're building them again. We're building 2 posts. We're sliding the prong in. There's an attachment in there that it locks it into place. They interlock. And then when you get up to as high as 8, that's going to be the height we've decided to go to. Your fridge or freezer may not require 8. Now see what I did right there? I didn't quite put the prong in. So I have to go back and just pop it solidly in. There. Don't need any tools whatsoever. These are made of steel, and they have a special coating on it, anti-corrosion coating for wet interiors of fridges and freezers, and they will last a lifetime. These are very sturdy, and if you have a shorter height, you're going to use fewer than 8, but we've decided this is a standard 20 cubic foot space, so we're going to use 8 of them. And almost there, but you see as we get them higher and higher, you want to make sure they're parallel. So they're equal width, equal apart. And then when you get to the very top, we're going to be using tape. We gave you a roll of masking tape, and this is one of the uses for that roll of masking tape. So when we get there, just to keep them from moving one way or another, we're going to temporarily tape them into place while we finish off the top part. So my trusty assistant is handing me a piece of that masking tape. And when you tape it in, just gently put it on. Don't wrap it around it. And when you put the second piece on, don't overlap it with the first piece because you want them to be easily able to come off. So now we've decided these are straight up and down and equidistant. So now we're going to deal with the header and the stabilizer. The header's on the left, the stabilizer's on the right. And the header is, see those black prongs? The black prongs are going to allow you to attach that part to the top of the post. So when you get these laid out, you see there's square holes on the top. It's the same crossbar that we used for the footer, but we're using it for the header, and this one will be the stabilizer. And so how do we put them together? We use these spacer rods, and they go in those square holes. And at the head of the spacer rod, there's a little square part to it, see? You turn that until, click, it goes into the square hole, and it just further stabilizes it. So there we are putting another one in. Now you can space these however far apart you want. We've just shown you one way to do it here. You could put them further apart. The further apart, actually, the more stable it is, but it really doesn't matter. Now we put the washers, and now we're putting on the nuts, and the washer goes all the way up. The nut, we're spinning it right up to as well. Now remember, finger tight only. Do not use any wrenches or any tools. You want just finger tight. So now we're spinning the other nut on here, and it's going to go all the way up as well till it meets that washer that's underneath. And this, what we're holding in our hand, is the stabilizer. It's going to be touching the ceiling. And so now what we're going to do is put another nut, and we're going to put it halfway up. Okay, we're going to put it on the bottom of those spacer rods. These are very strong. They're going to fit exactly into the header. The header goes on top of the post. That's why we call it headers, because they're the head of the post. So now we're just spinning this nut on halfway up approximately. You'll see how we adjust it later when we put it on the post. But right now, just roughly there. And then put another washer loosely right there. Okay. Then there goes the other nut. And these spacers are allowing you to snugly fit that stabilizer against the ceiling, and it allows you to put it in to those square holes right there, see? And as I mentioned, you can make them wider apart. You can make them so that the rods are right up against, next to where those black prongs are. Okay, so now that we've done that, what we want to do is use those black pads that you see. Those are anti-slip silicone pads, and we're going to be able to cushion. Now what we're showing here is that we've got those, the heads of those rods are sticking out, just barely. I mean, they're flush, but we don't want them pressing up into the ceiling of your fridge or freezer. So we take that anti-stick silicone pad, take the adhesive backing off of it, so you've got a sticky side and a not sticky side. Now obviously you're going to put the sticky side down over the head of each of the posts. So very easy, and on it goes. Just line it up. There it is. We've cut them specially so they will fit, of course, and that's what's going to be snugly up against the ceiling of your fridge or freezer. It's going to protect it. You have similar ones under the footer. Okay, you can put those under the footer. Now what we have here are the tops of the two posts that we did, and we're going to show you how we put that header on. Now pretend this is in your freezer or fridge, and we have those two loose prongs, and this is how we attach the header to the tops of the posts. So all you do is just lightly put it on top of the posts. There you go. And then we're going to take one of those prongs and slide it in. You've aligned that slot, see, right into the other slot, and there it is. It's now firmly attached to the post. Same thing here. Okay, now we're going to be adjusting the height of the stabilizer. We want the stabilizer to touch the ceiling snugly. So now see what we're doing with those nuts on the header. And you'll see as we turn that, it makes the stabilizer move up. Okay, so you turn the nut, and it pushes up on the stabilizer. And then those pads will be pressing up against your ceiling. So you keep moving one nut and then the other nut until you are happy with how snug that stabilizer is. So just move that, and you'll see how it, on the top of the stabilizer, you do that twist and the stabilizer moves. And it's just meant to gently touch the top of the ceiling firmly, but do not use a wrench, because if you use too much force, it'll cause things to buckle. So you want just finger tight, that's it. And once you've done that, you're now finished with attaching the stabilizer and the header. And then you do the same thing on the other side. Okay, now if this is inside your freezer, it's not going to move like that. It's going to be firmly up against